The antelope tries to cross a waterhole, attracting the hungry crocodile's attention. For the crocodile, it's a stroke of luck, as the hoofed animal finds itself in its native element. It seems the antelope will soon run out of breath as it moves in jerky motions. Then it starts swimming more calmly, but when the crocodile appears behind it, the outcome of this struggle seems predetermined. The reptile moves purposefully and swiftly, aided by its broad tail. It's quite easy to just grab the prey and drag it down. Escaping from the jaws of a crocodile is extremely difficult, and the hoofed animal is likely to simply suffocate. The reptile closes in on its prey and lunges, but the antelope senses the predator and makes a sharp move. It dives down, then swiftly and powerfully bursts upward, throwing off the crocodile and sending it flying with a powerful kick. The antelope kicks with such force that it surprises the reptile and gives the herbivore time to break free from the pursuit. Today we will show you other cool cases in which hoofed animals have demonstrated their strength. A combined herd of wildebeests and zebras migrates across the savanna. Foals, like most other hoofed animals, stand up shortly after birth. The mare can only rely on herself, and other members of the herd don't assist her. The mare defends her offspring from predators on her own. She hoped the foal would be safer among its kind, but that was a mistake. However, a lioness isn't easily deterred. She may spook the entire massive herd, but only to attack a vulnerable hoofed youngling. The young zebra seems to be almost as large as the adult, but in reality, the difference in speed and strength between it and the mature zebra is colossal. Here, the lioness effortlessly singles out the young individual and sinks her fangs into the throat. Zebras aren't known for their inclination to cooperate. They gather in herds only for camouflage. Their stripes serve to blend the silhouette of the hoofed animals during prolonged runs, confusing predators. However, if the lioness thought that the mother would abandon her nearly grown offspring, she was mistaken. The mare rushes to help her foal. The lioness tries to shield the victim with her body, but the agile mother zebra finds a vulnerability in the lioness's defense, occupied by the struggle. The hoofed animal enters the fray, forces the panther to spit out the foal's throat. The zebra shields the offspring with her own body. When the lioness is ready to pounce on the protector, the female powerfully kicks the enemy and throws it off. After which, both hoofed animals successfully retreat. Wildebeests are quite large and powerful hoofed animals, but they prefer to hide from threats rather than fight predators. Don't blame them for cowardice. When dealing with a whole pack of hyenas, the desire to flee is natural. Hyenas can be considered some of the most efficient and powerful predators of the African savanna. They compete almost on par with lions. Of course, the main advantage of spotted predators is their numbers. A hyena pack can consist of dozens of individuals. And although their tactics can't be called particularly noble, if such categories are even applicable to animals, they are adept at cooperating and combining efforts for a joint victory. Hyenas rarely employ cunning tactics and combinations like much smarter wolves do. Also, hyenas are far less devoted and loyal to each other compared to lions. That is, in battle, hyenas will cover each other and try to rescue a wounded comrade from the clutches of their assailant, but will immediately flee if they sense their numerical advantage is compromised. However, in terms of tactics of encirclement and overwhelming attacks from multiple directions, hyenas have few rivals. They have mastered this maneuver to execute it perfectly. Moreover, even one hyena poses a serious threat. Bulkier than a leopard, This predator only appears clumsy due to the specific proportions of its body, its bulkiness, and to the peculiar way it runs in a trot. In reality, hyenas are very agile, ferocious, cruel, and act extremely decisively. They can exert tremendous force in a ramming strike, but their main weapon is, of course, their jaws. A hyena can break a thick bone, easily tear off a chunk of flesh, or puncture large blood vessels. So, if several hyenas go hunting, even a half-ton bull would be in trouble. For a wildebeest, which is several times lighter and is roughly in the same weight category as a zebra, its even bigger reason is to flee. Moreover, wildebeests usually rely on themselves, even in a herd. Instances of mutual aid between adult individuals do occur and are not uncommon, but it's still not considered normal or widespread behavior. Here, the sudden appearance of hyenas caused genuine panic among the wildebeests, prompting all the hoofed animals to bolt. The predators chose the perfect moment to attack. The thing is, the young wildebeests were just about to play. They were chasing each other, frolicking, and having fun while their parents grazed in the distance. The young hoofed animals got carried away and stayed quite far from their mothers. When panic swept through the herd, the calves got separated, of course. Dozens of adult wildebeests rushed past, leaving the youngsters to fend for themselves. Their mothers had no chance of finding their offspring, but the hyenas found one of the calves. They anticipated an easy kill with a defenseless hoofed animal, which was roughly a quarter the size of an adult. The hyenas don't appear until the moment they need to surprise attack the calf's neck, and they're able to lunge at the young animal and at least catch its stomach. However, underestimating this calf would have been a mistake. Even in this incredibly challenging extreme situation, it didn't lose its composure, its will to resist or freeze in place. Instead, the wildebeest played its only trump card: maneuverability. The play of the young animals as the herd is not only a way to test themselves and socialize. It's also an important training during which the wildebeest develops speed, agility, coordination, and attentiveness. The eyes of the hoofed animal are located on the sides of the skull, which impairs depth perception but significantly expands the field of view. The calf attentively watches its opponent and reacts promptly to every lunge. The young wildebeest demonstrates extraordinary agility, dodging truly dangerous attacks, and literally springing out of the hyena's gaping jaws. The calf is much weaker and lighter than an adult wildebeest, but its lesser weight also increases its maneuverability and allows it to use the tactics of small gazelles. Making lightning-fast leaps along a zigzag trajectory, the hoofed animal evades the attack of each hyena in the hunting pack. The cruel predators engaged with a prey that wasn't easy or quick to catch. Although the distance between the calf and the predators was sometimes less than a foot, the young wildebeest never allowed itself to be injured, thus maintaining its agility. And thanks to its calculation, endurance, and resilience, the wildebeest didn't panic and paced its efforts to avoid exhaustion during the chase and to break away from the hyenas, disrupting the ring of their encirclement. The incredible agility surely surprised the predators, but they couldn't reach their prey. The wildebeest managed to escape the enemies and reach its own herd, which hadn't retreated very far. That's how the calf, without the support of adults, managed to defeat an entire pack of hyenas on its own. A horse's beautiful hanging tail might seem like an enticing toy to a dog. But approaching a huge hoofed animal from behind is a huge mistake. The horse senses the threat and delivers a lightning-fast and powerful kick with its hoof. Such a kick can send even a large dog into a short but impressive flight. There are quite a few cases like this, but if you think horses just have a bad temper and don't like it when other animals play with their tails, you're mistaken. The thing is, despite their impressive strength and speed, Horses remain skittish herbivores that are very wary of any external sources of irritation. They're not afraid of domestic dogs that live with them on the farm or just those that they see from time to time. But a horse's eyes are positioned on the sides of its skull. So the animal sees everything that's happening on the sides, in front, and even behind. But there are two blind spots. A horse can't see directly in front of its muzzle, as well as behind itself. And when a dog bites or simply plays with the tail, it enters the horse's blind spot, and the horse instinctively attacks. Just in case. What if it's not a dog, but a bear that dug a tunnel and approached the horse? So you should never approach a horse directly from behind. And moreover, you shouldn't clap it on the hind legs, pull, or even stroke its tail. This rule applies to people, including horse owners, whom the horses are used to and love. A rear kick is a horse's instinctive reaction, so this advice should be taken seriously. It seems the dogs that suffered from being kicked by hooves did survive, but the powerful kick clearly stunned each of them. The dogs either suffered broken ribs or concussions. The way a horse delivers a swift and powerful kick looks cool and even amusing as the animal fights off annoying dogs. But horses should be approached with caution. Hit that like button if you found this information helpful to you. But it's even funnier when a horse is attacked by a rooster or a chicken. The domestic bird is so used to the huge neighbor that it's not really afraid of it at all. Moreover, the bird might start to press the horse, mistaking the equine's calmness and patience for weakness. A big mistake. An enraged or simply irritated horse is capable of easily trampling the opponent. One terrifying strike literally stamps the audacious bird into the ground, turning it into a flattened mess. Or the equine sends the rooster flying with a sideways kick that the bird's wings can't handle. The rooster is launched like a projectile. Looks pretty epic, doesn't it? By the way, donkeys are usually more patient than horses. They also have smaller dimensions compared to their distant relatives, with long ears, stretched out funny faces, and shorter legs. But considering donkeys shy is pretty silly. This dog thought it could not just take part of the donkey's food, but steal the equine's lunch. The dog snapped, attacked the donkey, who ignored it for a long time and didn't really want to engage in conflict. Its patience deserves respect, as it comes not from fear, but from a reluctance to harm a farm neighbor. But when the dog nearly sinks its teeth into the donkey, it crosses a line it shouldn't have approached. The donkey turns its back on the dog and takes aim. It delivers a test kick that the dog ignores. Bad idea. Positioning itself, the donkey forcefully kicks and hits the audacious dog right in the head. The dog is thrown off and hits its head against the wall of the structure, bouncing off it like a wall. Yelping and panicking, the dog runs away. It's alive, but this concussion will be a painful lesson. Don't mess with donkeys. This cheetah here is chasing a young zebra, unaware that it has become the prey. The zebra mother isn't going to leave her offspring to the predator's claws. The foal is almost grown, but the mare fiercely defends it. At the last moment, the cheetah notices the enemy and dodges the charging strike. If the mare had hit the cat, she could have broken the predator's legs due to such furious speed. A family of cheetahs went hunting for zebras. These spotted cats are the fastest runners on the planet. But to achieve dizzying speeds of up to 70 miles per hour, 120 kilometers per hour, they had to sacrifice bulky muscles. Cheetahs are very strong and can be extremely dangerous in combat. However, despite their quite large size, they are very sleek and slender creatures. The zebra outweighs the cheetah by several times. To be honest, you can't really call striped hoofed animals particularly brave creatures. Faced with a dangerous predator, they prefer flight to fight. But they are quite capable of accessing the opponent's capabilities. Understanding that the cheetah significantly lags behind them in raw physical strength, the enraged zebras are the first to attack the predators. The cheetahs didn't expect such audacity. They scatter in shock but still hope to regroup for an attack. Bad thinking. Zebras show neither weakness nor fear. Perhaps two cheetahs could have taken down an adult stallion, but only if they managed to turn him to flight. Instead, the aggressive hoofed animal itself forces the predators to retreat. Zebras chase the enemy as if they were scared kittens, especially the enraged stallion, who seriously intends to knock the cheetah to the ground, trample it, or even bite it. When a raging striped-hoofed creature comes charging at you, baring its large teeth, keeping calm is almost impossible. The cheetahs flee. Their attempts to maintain some semblance of order and regain control over the situation only evoke sympathy. Moreover, they risk it because the zebra, once it gains speed, can shorten the dangerously close distance. Several times, hooves flash right next to the flexible but vulnerable body of the cat. If the zebra manages to land a couple of terrifying blows, investing the weight of its huge body into them, it threatens the cheetah with injuries and fractures. For a sprinter who almost always relies on running to catch prey, this would be fatal. Cheetahs can't afford minor limb injuries, unlike leopards, who can leap onto the prey's head from a tree, or lions. A wounded lioness can deter the herbivore with her mere presence and direct it into the jaws of its waiting sisters. Which means that the cheetahs must now retreat. Surprisingly, the zebra gathered enough courage to separate from the herd and boldly launched a frontal attack on the cheetah, who eyed their hoofed family with hungry eyes. It seems the striped herbivore is having fun. It is confident in its superiority, and the momentum allowed the zebra to gather energy and stopped the hoofed animal. The cheetah won't even be able to do it, even if its fangs precisely hit the trachea. The zebra will simply knock the opponent to the ground and mix it with dust. The cheetah runs away, but fails to gain momentum. It seems it will be knocked down in a moment, but at the last moment, it veers aside, letting the aggressive zebra pass by. This hoofed creature has disrupted the system as the prey and predator have switched places. Here's one of the most intense confrontations between hoofed animals and predators. Here, an aging African buffalo encountered a whole pride of lionesses. The predatory cats crept up to the buffalo through the tall, dried grass, so the hoofed animal did not notice the threat for quite a long time. And when it did, it was already too late. Only a young, swift-footed animal can afford to try to escape from such agile predators. Besides, where could the buffalo run to? There's no herd nearby whose members would surely come to its aid. By the way, if you would like to see more impressive scenes in which animals fight each other in groups, let us know about it in the comment section underneath this video. But this buffalo is all alone. Yet, it's not about to give up. Why bother running away and wasting energy on retreat that won't save it anyway? Better to save strength for desperate resistance. When the lionesses approached close enough to strike, they realized they were dealing not with a desperate, helpless, and panicking old beast, but with a seasoned and experienced fighter waiting for an opportunity to trample or disembowel its enemies with its horns. That's why the lionesses employed a cunning and prudent tactic, which some might call sneaky. To prevent the buffalo from using its horns and, at the same time, deprive the enemy of mobility, all three lionesses attacked its hind legs simultaneously. Although the buffalo outweighs the lionesses by more than 4 times, 3 fierce and strong cats could easily overwhelm even such a foe, especially if they hit one vulnerable point all at once. By sinking their long, sharp claws into the buffalo's flesh and biting its tail, the lionesses tried to make the hoofed animal bend its hind legs. That would spell the end of the fight and ensure a swift victory for the predatory cats. But the buffalo shows that it's ready to fight desperately to the end. It uses physics. Of course, the hoofed animal is unlikely to understand it deeply, but experience tells it that this is the only way to survive. The bull starts not just moving forward, trying to break free from the hold, but spinning. This increases the chances of reaching the enemy with its huge, sharp horns. But most importantly, the bull starts to accelerate and gain speed, and the momentum it builds far exceeds the capabilities of the lionesses. As a result, the buffalo applies this technique several times and scatters the hunters who constantly try to attack the hind part of the buffalo's body from one side or the other. There are many predatory cats they are experienced to, but the prey's tactic is too effective. The buffalo has received several deep and painful wounds here, but although the days of its youth are gone, it's still an incredibly strong and resilient beast. Therefore, the injuries only infuriated the enraged buffalo and made it act even more decisively. The lionesses don't give up here. They are not as enduring, but they can switch with each other, taking advantage of their numerical superiority. However, the bull here is not stupid either. It conserves strength when possible to deliver maximum effort at the key moment. It can almost instantly stop after a high-energy movement, causing the lionesses to be carried away from its body by inertia. Neither throwing out the balance of the hoofed animal, nor bringing it down, nor damaging the tendons or the base of the panther's spine could be achieved here. But the longer the battle drags on, the more chances increase that one of the huntresses will make a mistake and won't leap off the buffalo's horns in time. Yes, lionesses can prolong the fight, but the buffalo can also use time to its advantage here. The chances of causing serious injuries to the lionesses grow with each attack repelled by the cats. In the end, the lionesses get tired of risking without any real results. The aggressive bull impresses them so much with its crushing force that they retreat for a while. It's only a temporary reprieve, but for the buffalo, the lioness's temporary retreat is an ideal opportunity to withdraw and disappear into the thickets, where bushes and trees allow it to avoid being surrounded at all costs. Other hoofed animals must be at a distance that the buffalo can overcome in one leap. As a result, the whole pride of lionesses fails to bring down this buffalo, and the hoofed animal walks away scratched, but alive. If you think that hoofed animals only demonstrate their ferocity and strength for self-defense and never initiate fights with predators themselves, you're mistaken. Here, a group of lions is playing and hunting at the same time. Their target is quite large and appetizing a monitor lizard. Catching a monitor lizard is not really easy. This flexible and cold-blooded creature can not only bite painfully in response, but also swiftly escape among dense thickets or distract with broad tail swipes. Throw sand in the eyes of a pursuing cat and slip away between its paws to freedom. Adult lionesses let the young generation catch this challenging prey. These lion cubs are no longer infants, but they are far from being mature predators. Such games not only bring them pleasure, but are also crucial for training and developing speed of reaction, coordination of movements, and practical hunting skills. The problem is that the cubs take the task seriously and focus entirely on its execution. The lion cub did manage to catch the lizard, grabbing its wriggling body and lifting it off the ground. However, during this moment, the young predator failed to notice the approaching bull. The enraged African buffalo charged and scared off all the young predators. Of course, the reptile's fate didn't matter to the hoofed animal whatsoever. The bull simply seized the opportunity to approach the opponent unnoticed and settle old scores. The buffalo rammed into the young predator and delivered an impressive, devastating blow with its horns. First, it drove the lioness into the ground with the ram, then hooked her with the sharp tips of its horns and sharply lifted her upward, dealing a terrible blow. The young lioness was thrown upwards so forcefully that the predator not only detached from the ground with all four paws, but also somersaulted several times in the air before crashing down like a helpless rag. In slow motion, some details become clear. How many somersaults did the young lioness make during the dizzying flight? We counted 2 complete somersaults. Not bad for a novice, right? Maybe she should consider a career in acrobatics. Just kidding. The lioness retreats in panic. She's lucky that her skin held up, and after the truly epic flight, she managed to get up and run with almost no limp. It seems all her bones are intact, but the pain from the stunning blow will linger in the predator's body for a long time. The bull didn't pursue the enemies or try to finish them off. It showed that panthers should practice and hone their hunting skills elsewhere. That bull is not a hoofed animal that will tolerate living alongside such dangerous predators. Let's hope the lionesses learned a painful lesson and will indeed retreat far enough. The next encounter with such a powerful fighter could end much worse for the young panthers. What do you think? Was the bull right to let the enemies go, or should it have pursued them further? Let us know your opinion in the comments. This is one of the most shocking, frightening, yet epic scenes involving hoofed animals captured on camera. A zebra ventures out onto the savanna plains for a nighttime snack. The hoofed animal is quite far from its herd and therefore tries to behave cautiously. It doesn't make noise, constantly looks around, ready to bolt at the first sign of danger. There's no chance to hide behind fellow zebras, so vigilance here plays a crucial role for the zebra now. But it turns out to be insufficient. Not far away, a pair of hyenas sets out in search of food. With just one predator, the adult zebra could handle it, or at least evade it without much trouble. The problem is that hyenas rarely roam alone. The dangerous pursuers suddenly swoop in on the zebra and pounce on it from different sides. A short but dynamic chase ensues. The zebra tries to confuse the enemies, take cover behind trees, and then gather momentum to break free. But the hyenas act too swiftly. They dart from different directions, encircle, dodge the zebra's probing attacks. And then the predators gradually close the circle. The zebra is trapped. The hyenas sink their teeth into the hoofed animal and ram it, dragging it down to the ground. The swift attack, crushing force, and simultaneous actions of several large, strong, and ferocious hunters yield results. Stunned, the zebra fails to escape and collapses to the ground. It tries to get up, but the hyenas have already sunk their teeth into it. They don't go for the kill, cruelly striking its body instead of going for the throat. Hyenas possess a formidable bite force. With their strong teeth, they crush bones, and the zebra's skin and muscles are as much of an obstacle to their jaws as butter is to a hot knife. Trying to stay away from the zebra's teeth, hyenas strike at the zebra's abdomen and open its abdominal cavity. Looks pretty terrifying, doesn't it? The zebra's plight evokes sympathy, yet it prefers us to give up. Overcoming excruciating pain, the zebra fights to the end. It looks around, then suddenly springs up and strikes at the enemies. The zebra kicks, lashes out with its hooves, thrashes, and throws off the hyenas shocked by its ferocity. They didn't expect such endurance and strength from this hoofed animal. And then the zebra indeed tries to flee. With its abdominal cavity ruptured, essentially disemboweled but still alive and ready to fight, the zebra cannot go far. It gathered its strength too late. But still, its resistance is astonishing. The zebra delivers powerful blows until the very end. And even when the hyenas brought it down a second time, it continued to kick and fight. The hyena emerged victorious, but received several blows they surely didn't expect from such a seriously injured opponent. The hoofed animal turned out to be not an easy prey, but a fierce fighter. Unfortunately, this battle was lost by the zebra, but it showed its opponent what a strength of character really is. Sad, but the zebra's character commands respect. What emotions did this episode evoke in you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below the video. We would really love to hear your opinion. Hoofed animals often engage in fights, although many species respond to threats from predators with swift attempts to flee. But if you think there's a contradiction here, you're mistaken, because zebras often fight not with lions and leopards, but among themselves. Especially fierce are the battles between males during mating season, to establish dominance within the herd, although sometimes they may fight simply because one of the opponents is in a bad mood. For example, here a herd noticed an unusual water source. It's an open channel dug by humans. The hoofed animals came to drink, but to their unpleasant surprise, unlike the bottom of a natural river or stream, the channel bottom is smooth and slippery. One zebra slips and nearly falls into the water. How does the nearest kin react? Of course, with a treacherous strike to the head. The stallion attempts to push the competitor into the water to injure him and to get rid of its rival. But he underestimated his opponent here. Although the targeted stallion barely maintains balance and struggles within the attack amidst the splashes, he manages to get onto solid ground, after which he tries to push the aggressor into the water. The aggressive stallion who initiated the fight chose the wrong opponent this time. The hoofed animal, which initially had no intention of fighting anyone, became angry and didn't really want to come down here, even when both opponents moved away from the slippery channel. The battle of two enraged stallions looks like a strange dance. The opponents circle as if trying to catch each other's tail, periodically falling to their knees, springing up, bowing their heads, then kicking. But they continue to run in circles, getting as close as possible. It may seem like a game or an attempt to make the fight less injurious. It's not. In fact, both animals use a quite bloodthirsty tactic and try to act with fierce cruelty. The thing is, the enemies are massive, powerful, and possess tremendous striking force. They also know about each other's capabilities. That's why, being equal in size, they come so close. Thus, zebras try not to let the opponent use ramming tactics. It's anatomically difficult for them to kick sideways, so the opponents stand side by side. But the main thing is their teeth. It's precisely this weapon that enraged zebras put to use. A zebra's bite is terribly painful and highly traumatic. Their flat and large teeth literally tear the skin from the muscles underneath, compressing the nerve endings. But since striped hoofed animals don't necessarily have long fangs, they cannot injure each other's internal organs, with one exception. Both stallions literally tried to bite off each other's genitals. This specific form of castration in combat almost always leads to fatal injuries because there are large blood vessels in this area. Unlike lions, zebras are unable to reach the arteries and veins in the neck, suffocate by tracheal compression, or simply eviscerate their opponent's abdomen. That's why they resort to the most despicable method. When the stallion realizes that the opponent is almost reaching the target, the only way to save itself is to instantly deliberately drop to its knees. In this position, the zebra protects its genitals but loses mobility, so the stallion rises to prevent the towering enemy from sinking its teeth into the withers, the base of the spine, or sensitive areas on the legs. The situation repeats itself in a cycle over and over again. Occasionally, one of the opponents attempts to kick the other when trying to deliver a fatal blow. But not all the time during the duel are the animals in this position. For example, here, the clash of zebras begins with an impressive hoof strike of one individual directly into the jaw of the other zebra. Although the blow is painful, and it will surely resonate in the bruised bone for many days to come, it didn't manage to stun the opponent. The enemies start to collide and fiercely bite each other's necks. Close-range combat means the use of teeth. And as soon as the opponents separate, they immediately begin to exchange hoof strikes, head-on attacks, and running with constant role reversal. Every bite is extremely painful, but to truly injure the opponent, the hoofed animal aims for relatively thin areas. For example, where the legs join the body. Surely the stallion who initiated the fight and attacked a fellow member already regrets his decision. The lightning-fast attack was supposed to bring him a quick victory. But instead, the aggressor got a serious beating. Although he managed to bite or strike the enemy several times, starting the fight wasn't worth it. The young zebra mare is not particularly experienced, so she thinks predators are the main threat to her little striped treasure. This was a fatal mistake. The female relies on the fact that it will be difficult for any hunter to find her foal if there are many adult massive hoofed animals nearby. But the mare doesn't know who she's dealing with. A stranger male pounces on the baby and knocks it down, then brutally deals with it using massive and powerful teeth. He acted so quickly and brutally that the female was stunned and didn't have any time to react. The stallion stunned the baby with its furious attack. He finishes off the foal right before her eyes. Interestingly enough, hoof strikes were used only occasionally. Most of the time, the stallion used teeth for this onslaught. The thing is, hoofs are defensive weapons used primarily for self-defense. A zebra can deliver a powerful kick to the predator from behind during a chase or attack the opponent from the front to fend it off. Such strikes are very strong, but not always as accurate as the striped fighter would like. When a zebra bites, of course, it risks exposing its muzzle to the target. But for brutal retribution, teeth are the best way. A zebra's jaws are incredibly strong. With its teeth, the hoofed animal doesn't just grind, but crushes food. The jaws of horses and donkeys work the exact same way. Zebras don't have prominent fangs, so bites rarely break the skin. But with one devastatingly strong bite, the stallion can crush the bones in the body of the small opponent. The enraged male fairly quickly maimed the foal and then finished it off, constantly finding new places for another bite. He grabbed the throat, torso, and legs. The mare watched the carnage in shock. Now the mare will know that sometimes it's better not to mess with her own kind. Today we will show you other cases in which hoofed animals demonstrated unusual aggression and combat qualities. These zebras came to the watering hole, and the young one got a little bit carried away, carelessly wandering away from its mother. Suddenly, an enraged stallion attacks it. As you can see, for striped hoofed animals, this is a normal and common practice. The male knocks the foal off its feet and tries to drown it. This scene looks very brutal and harsh because against an experienced and aggressive massive male, the young hoofed animal is helpless. It barely manages to arch its neck to take a life-saving gulp of air when the adult zebra again plunges it into the water, throws it to the bottom, tries to break its bones with terrifying blows and bites. The stallion lifts the baby by the leg, drags it, and beats it. Males attack foals to get rid of future rivals and induce the foal's mother to come into estrus. The stallion presses the foal as low as possible and tries to drown or crush it. At first, the female watches this scene intensely and hesitates to intervene because she's not sure if her foal is even alive after the initial attack. However, the mare quickly recovers from the first shock after the stallion's sudden attack. The female lunges at the opponent when she realizes the foal is still alive, not maimed, and there are still chances to save it. The mare bites the stallion, causing him excruciating pain. Caught up in the brawl, the male doesn't expect this blow, so he releases the foal in shock. But then he continues his attempts to deal with it. The male throws off the mare with a powerful kick of his hind legs, and then chases the young one into shallow water and bites it on the back. The vicious aggressor tries to bite through the base of the spine to paralyze the victim. However, the foal turns out to be more agile than the stallion thought. Besides, the foal is lucky when its pursuer slips. However, he quickly regains his balance and rushes after the prey, using his teeth to find weak spots on the foal's body. But if he thought his prey had been abandoned, he was mistaken. The mare rushes into battle and shields the foal with her own body. She begins to deliver powerful blows and bites to the enemy. Of course, this did not stop the male, but angered him even more. A tense standoff between two maneuverable and motivated animals begins. The foal continues to try to escape. The male chases after it, simultaneously fighting with the enraged female, and he acts very actively. But he has to juggle between the different goals. Moreover, he attracts the attention of other members of the herd. If his aggressive behavior literally didn't bother anyone, then the protracted skirmish begins to annoy the other adult zebras. The mare is buying time. She is significantly inferior to the enemy in mass and strength and clearly fears him. But she is not going to abandon her foal. After a fierce exchange of blows and bites, it becomes clear that they won't be able to finish off the foal. Its mother has prevailed. The cheetah uses cunning and runs straight at the antelope, which is lying with its back to the predator. The cheetah understands that the hoofed animal will hear it, but doesn't attempt to sneak up. Its calculation is a little more subtle. The cat wants to reach maximum speed as quickly as possible. Then it will be able to catch the prey by building up momentum before the victim realizes what's happening. However, underestimating the prey's reaction speed wouldn't have been wise. The gazelle doesn't even turn around or waste time looking at the enemy. It was clearly prepared to confront the predator, so it immediately jumps up and runs away from the source of the noise. The hoofed animal swiftly makes a sharp turn and pulls away from the cheetah. Although the gazelle loses to the predator in terms of speed and a straight sprint, the herbivore's agility and sense of timing are top-notch. The cheetah is forced to slow down and soon comes to a stop. Its cunning backfires against the predator itself. It misjudged its strength and tired out too early. The antelope celebrates victory, having managed to avoid a fatal blow. Which of today's cases in which tough animals resisted their enemies did you like the most? Let us know your impressions in the comments below this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That way we'll be seeing each other much more often.